Hey everybody, I'm Philip.
And I'm Justin.
And together, we're Pajamas. And we are in the same night as the last episode, Season 5, Episode 1. We're now in Season 5, Episode 2. In these brave new steps we're taking with Matt Smith as a doctor. We saw him step into the character fully. By the end, we saw Amy become the new companion, albeit in somewhat controversial fashion for both of us. We were having lunch in between. I did kind of rant with TJ a little about it, who's seen everything. He's like, as far as I know, he's pretty much caught up. I know he's seen these. And I even admitted, I said, like, when Donna first showed up, didn't like it, et cetera, grew to adore her. So I'm 100% owning up that this could be the case as well. But he just said, give it time. I'm like, okay, I'll do that. But as I'm giving it time, if things happen that trigger me based on having to deal with 3 seasons of it's gonna bother me because I don't know where it goes. So as usual, the only way we can find out where it goes is to continue watching. So I'm hoping that we get some decent character development from both the Doctor and from Amy. Because right now, where we're at, because we don't know, it's looking a little I'm not as eager as I was, like I said in the last episode. But we're not going to stop. We're going to keep trucking on like we always do. We made it through Tennant's era. I made it through Tennant, so damn it. I can make it through this too. But that does not mean I will not complain. I've earned that right. Also said in the last episode, I'm no longer apologizing for my opinion. We are allowed to disagree. If you want to be mean to me in the comments, that's on you, not me. But you know what is on me? Hitting play on episode 2. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. Without further ado, nice segue. Let's get into it. Island of UK. Oh no, I got Surrey, Kent, Essex, Devon. Huh. Well, that's one way to start the second episode of the 5th season. Child murder. Potential child murder. Yeah.
It's one way to motivate children to study.
Yeah, no shit. You have a fiance.
My name is Amy Pond.
And I have a fiance. I'll stop. Maybe.
Starship UK. It's Britain, but metal. We are observers only. That's the one rule I've always stuck to in all my travels. I never get involved in the affairs of other peoples or planets.
Yeah? Because if they see like a wounded little hundreds of years in the future, I've been dead for centuries.
Oh, lovely.
Oh my God, I'm in my 90.
Now, sorry. Checking all the water in this area. There's an escaped fish.
Well done. Keep tabs on him.
I'll have a look on the monitors.
Meet me back here in half an hour.
What are you gonna do?
What I always do, stay out of trouble. Badly.
You never interfere in the affairs of other peoples or planets, unless there's children crying.
Yes.
Close. It's whenever he doesn't like what he sees.
Yeah. There'd be no show if he didn't.
Yes. He basically follows the rule, except for when he doesn't want to.
Exactly.
We're not supposed to talk about it.
And because you're not supposed to, you don't. Watch and learn.
Uh-oh.
You sound Scottish.
I am Scottish. What's wrong with that?
They wanted their own ship.
Good for them. Nothing changes.
So, how did you get here?
I'll just pass in through, you know, with a guy.
Your boyfriend? What?
Nothing, it's just... I'm getting married. Funny how things slip your mind.
The impossible truth, Doctor. We're traveling among the stars
in a spaceship that could never fly.
How? How do I find you again?
I am Liz 10, and I will find you.
Right to know of all its citizens. A presentation concerning the history of Starship UK will begin shortly.
The population of this ship do likewise. The program will be discontinued with consequences for you all. Will be erased from your memory, unburdened by the knowledge of what has been done to save you.
Everyone chooses the forget button.
Did you?
I'm not eligible to vote yet. I'm 12.
And once every 5 years, everyone chooses to forget what they've learned. Democracy in action.
You played for me?
Well, the difference being the computer doesn't accept me as human.
Why not? You look human.
No, you look Time Lord.
Here we go.
We came first.
It's a rubbish dump.
Only food refuse. Organic coming from feeder tubes from all over the ship. It's a tongue. If this is just the mouth, I'd love to see the stomach. No, not right now. Okay, closed for business.
Uh-oh.
You're a bit hard to miss, love. Mysterious stranger. Hair of an idiot.
Liz 10.
Liz 10, yeah. Elizabeth the 10th. Basically, our room. They slowed my body clock. Keeps me looking like the stamps.
Wear this in public.
Undercover's not easy when you're me.
The exposed pain centre of Big Fella's brain being tortured relentlessly. Or it's the gas pedal. The accelerator. Starship UK's go faster button. This is the sound none of you wanted to hear. They slowed your body clock, all right, but you're not 50, nearer 300. Here.
Dang.
What have you done?
Only what you have ordered.
It's called a star whale. We trapped it. We built our ship around it. Your reign will end, and our ship will disintegrate.
I voted for this. Why would I do that?
Because you knew if we stayed here, I'd be faced with an impossible choice. Humanity or the alien. You don't ever decide what I need to know.
I don't even remember doing it.
You did it, that's what counts.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I don't care. When I'm done here, you're going home. Electrical charge through the star whale's brain should knock out all its high functions, leave it vegetable. The ship will still fly, but the whale won't feel it.
That would be like killing it.
3, I murder a beautiful, innocent creature as painlessly as I can. And then I find a new name, because I won't be the Doctor anymore. Nobody talk to me, nobody.
No man has anything to say to me today!
Sorry, Your Majesty. Gonna need a hand.
Wait, no! No!
Star Whale didn't come like a miracle all those years ago. It volunteered. You didn't have to trap it or torture it. That was all just all that pain and misery and loneliness. And it just made it kind. Very old and very kind and the very, very last. Sound a bit familiar. Have you ever run away from something because you were scared?
Once, a long time ago.
What happened?
Hello?
People phone you?
Well, it's a phone box. Would you mind?
Winston Churchill for you.
Potentially very dangerous. Think I'm going to need you.
Don't worry about a thing, Prime Minister. We're on our way.
We all depend on the beast below.
It was a little sweet little episode.
Yes, I loved it.
Yeah.
It was very touching.
Yeah, it was a nice, like, before it was just the establishing episode. This was like the first trip.
Yes.
For Doctor and Companion. And I think it was a good first trip. Reminded me very much of when the Blonde Nightmare and that one guy, but the space station place where they had like the holes in their heads and they would open up, and kind of reminded me of that at first, like the feeling and the vibe.
A philosophical episode.
Yeah, it was it's something I could get preachy about. I won't, because there's certain topics I just choose not to get preachy about as they pertain to things outside the episode. if it happens in the episode or characters in the episode, oh yeah, gloves are off. But yeah, I think it was cool that, you know, it's the beast below, and it's this, starts off and this little boy gets a 0, so he's punished by being dropped to the beast because he can't take the elevator. And the entire time we're like, there's this evil creature that's like being fed children and other things, and it's very malevolent and bad.
Or so it was assumed.
Yeah, perspective is everything. And then it turns out that it was actually the engine for the ship. The Earth was burning up. It had showed up, this star whale, last of them, and they captured it and assimilated it to the ship. And then we find out that it came because it volunteered. And they've been torturing this poor creature. And it came out of the kindness of its heart. Because it heard children crying and it wanted to help.
Yes, and even despite all of that, it still continued to stay.
Yeah.
That was very sweet.
Going faster than they were, yeah. So yeah, I really like the that idea, you know, because we've talked before in the past that good and evil isn't always what it seems. Heroes and villains aren't always what they seem. It's about perspective. And I like that they really tackle that notion, how perception can be swayed based on what you know, but also what you don't know, which I think applies so much in modern day society. But I won't go on about that too heavily. I just thought it was a very, very sweet, as said. And anything else from the episode that?
Yes, it does show the fallacy of the notion that ignorance is bliss, because they would constantly press forget, because they want to forget, because they don't like what was, well, the more that they knew, the less that they wanted to know about how this thing worked. And thought of out of sight, out of mind, but it did show, yes, but by doing so, you aren't changing anything.
Right.
Still, the same thing is still happening over and over again.
Well, it's easier, correlate this to whatever country you live in, and we'll say geopolitical stuff. Think of it. It's easier to keep the status quo if you fearmonger them into thinking that the alternative is worse. When in fact, if you actually do your research, the alternative is probably way the fuck better. But they were just being fed the scary parts, and that's all the information they had. So that's all they had to work with. Which obviously, yeah, if you're only getting fed the scariest parts of situations, be it people or situations or countries or whatever, that's going to shape your narrative on what you think of those people or groups or countries. So when you have, red versus blue and all these things, it's just it's just interesting to step outside of it and look at those situations with this kind of narrative where you're fed all the fear and you're fed all the lies. And in situations where, like that, they're not even trying to hide the bad things that are happening or what's going on. The queen knew, but then the queen forgot because she chose to forget. And she thought it'd been 10 years, it'd been almost 300. She's almost like 300 years old.
Yes.
Interesting to think that all she had to do was one time hit abdicate, and that creature would have been freed. So it's just like one time, all people need to do is step back and open their eyes, and maybe they'd be freed of the veil, the illusion that's being fed.
Yes, like the doctor said, to look.
Yes. I've said that so many times, like, Yeah, I'm not going to get into it. I could, but I won't.
And well, traditionally, eyes are the vehicles of knowledge because information goes from out there through the eye to the brain.
Yeah, and it's easy to manipulate because you can manipulate that information. What's seen, how it's seen.
Yes.
All of it. So really a nice little allegory for the way things are. This might be a little controversial for some people. I don't think emotional range, so far, it's only 2 episodes in, I don't think Matt Smith has the emotional range or resonance yet that Tennant has, or Eccleston had as well. When he was talking about being the last of the Time Lords, the delivery felt not as impactful. Like you didn't feel the weight of the sorrow and all of it.
Which is what this episode was actually about, going through pain and suffering.
So, I don't know, maybe it was just me. I don't know if you noticed that. I just, when Tennant talked about being alive, it was just like, it hurt. And it was sad. It's very much like when I talked about Martha and the Blonde Nightmare. And I said that there was an episode with Martha that she had to get emotional. I think it was the one where they were all driving in the cars on the highway that never ended, all that stuff, because they were underneath the city. And I said if the Blonde Nightmare had been in that same scene, it would have carried a lot more emotional resonance, because as much as I didn't like her character, the actress is very good, especially at crying, at showing emotions, at having range. And I always appreciated that from her, even though I didn't care for the character. I think this is in the same vein, where I think right now, Tennant had more of like an emotional reservoir to tap into. Matt Smith doesn't seem to have that yet.
Lacking pathos.
Well, just, I didn't connect. It just felt like somebody reciting lines from a script. And then when he was angry...
Simply reciting lines, but with a louder voice.
Not as bad. Because he was clear he was angry. But it just didn't hit as hard as I think Tennant would have hit it. Because as much as I didn't like them... See, this is again also like, this is similar with The Blonde Nightmare. I didn't like the way Tennant's character was written, but Tennant himself as an actor is phenomenal. Fantastic actor. So I'm just going off of what I'm seeing so far again. But I thought those two scenes were a little like, eh. And I think if we were to put Eccleston or Tennant into those scenes, they would have been a little more, a little weightier with how they felt were delivered. But we'll see as time goes on. Maybe he will, he's still getting his feet wet with the character. And it's hard because this is a unique role in that not only do you play this character, you're playing a character that like a dozen people have played before you. So you have all these different people to be compared to in the same character. There's not really a show like that, really. Like, yeah, you can have like Star Trek, and there's different captains. You can compare the captains to each other, but they're not the same captain. This is the same doctor, the same exact character, just different versions. So everyone's gonna be something different. Like, should I expect him to act like Tennant? No. This is his interpretation. But all I have to compare to are these two versions, Eccleston and Tennant. So it's just like companions. I'm going to compare. They're not the same companion, but I'm still going to compare companions because it's the same kind of character type. But then again, they're not the same character. The Doctor is. Am I saying he acted bad? No, not at all. He acted fine. I thought the last of the Time Lord's speech was a little wooden, and the part where he got angry was a little. It could have been, because this was a fucking hard decision, man. You either let the whale continue to be tortured, the star whale continue to be tortured, and let everyone live. You set it free, and you kill everyone on the ship, because it will disintegrate, or you make it a vegetable, so that it can continue to do its function, but not feel any pain. And they did hammer the point home a little too hard. Where like, last of the Star Whales, last of the Time Lord, sacrificing itself to help. Don't like to see people cry, helping people. Like they went like really hard on that. A lot in the last like 20 minutes.
Yes, we understand the analogy.
Yeah. So I think they laid it on a little thick, but I did like the analogy itself. So the doctor could, basically, like, the doctor can identify with a star whale, because then they said that, he realized it, and then she's like, reminds me of somebody else I know. I think that kind of one-to-one comparison of creature to creature, alien to alien, they made that a point. Alien helping humanity, alien helping humanity. So he's gonna have this bond with this star whale, and he has to put this thing out of its misery. This poor creature out of its misery. It should have been a little more emotionally
heavy.
That, and just painful. He was mad, yeah. But it should have been more of like a painful mad, because he's angry. But at the same time, this sucks. I may be in the minority. I know I am in a lot of things, and I've already accepted my role as that. There was just a little like oomph that wasn't there that I think should have been. But overall, it was fine. Like, he's not a bad actor. Clearly not a bad actor. He chose to be the next Doctor. That's like huge. I also like that we touched on the wedding idea, and I like that I didn't know that. I say it every damn episode. We don't know. I didn't know she was going to bring it up in this episode. She might even bring it up in the next episode or the next. I don't know. We take it as we get it, and we react to it as we get it. You know what's going to happen. So when people like see us, they're like, you're just complaining about this thing. Well, yeah, because this is all we know about the thing right now. Of course we're going to complain about it or talk about it. We have no idea what happens with Amy. So we're getting fed breadcrumbs. And we got a breadcrumb. She brought it up, and she even said, did you ever have something, you weren't sure you wanted to do, or you maybe wanted to run away from? Okay. That makes it a little more tolerable with what happened. Since we've had more character development with her, for us, it's easier to now kind of see from her point of view. So I still think it sucks for the fiance. Have some empathy. Come on now. But I was glad that we touched on it. Little annoyed that she was about to tell him. He's like, oh, no, answer the phone. It's like, Which would be interesting if that's true. He's that lonely. So this new version he has the memory of being alone. And if it comes out that he knew the whole time and he just wanted a companion because he was lonely, he didn't care, I wouldn't like it. I don't like it now. But it would be very interesting character development, I think. It'd be very I don't mind flawed characters. I mind characters who pretend they're not flawed that clearly are. And yeah, I could accept it then. I could accept it then and be okay with it. If it was, I did this and I shouldn't have, and I'm sorry. Because what does the Doctor do? Every season, he learns and he grows, and he learns and he grows. Every season with every companion. So with Amy, he's going to learn a lesson. At least it's not pussy galore. At least we don't have Dr. Bond to pussy galore. That's all I'm saying.
Shall we go to the notes? It reminded me of you. Going through all of that time and pain, but still deciding to stay out of love.
Stay where?
With me.
Why would I leave you?
Exactly.
You're not torturing me. Love me. Zzz. Love me. Zzz. Okay, ow. No, it's whatever curse is sitting on my back and the black cloud over my head. Lately, God, it's been bad. It's been bad, hasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, it's been bad. Nah, of course I would stay.
Thank you for not making yourself go away.
Philip's notes.
So we open up and we see the United Kingdom of Britain spaceship.
Yes.
That was pretty cool.
With the towers saying exactly which parts.
Yeah. That was really cool. Then we have the iconic line that both of us reacted to. Doctor says, I never get involved in other people's affairs. And we're both like,
when?
Yeah, this show would not exist if you didn't, sir.
Since when does he go by that rule? Did he only make that up and decided to follow it only a few seconds ago? And did follow it for a few minutes.
Yeah. Well, technically, she got involved more first. But historically, yeah.
And actually, what counts as being involved? You're actually stepping into their world and interacting with it.
Yeah.
So what does not interfere mean? What are the parameters of this?
Well, it's like, I never get involved. Let's go to Pompeii. Like, I never get involved. Let's go to Mars for this fixed point in time that is never. That better be something in the future. That was such a fucking. I've went on about it. I'm not gonna go on about it. My feelings are known about that, especially since Tennant is gone. Matt Smith is here. Please, can we tie that loose thread up? Because it was too damn good and too damn important for the Doctor just to get away with it. He fucked with a fixed point in time. And didn't die because of it. He died because he's being nice to Granddad. Back to the notes. I like when he's when they're on the spaceship, and he asks Amy, what's wrong with this picture? I like when the Doctor tries to make the companions detectives. Like, figure it out, deduce, use reasoning. I like that. I think that part's cool. Then they find out that there's no engine, and then the idea that they're flying through space on a spaceship that can't fly. Huh. Now, what it turned out to be was tragic, but at the time I'm like, huh. Okay.
A paradox.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But then Amy gets put into that room, sees all the horrors of what happened. Then there's the buttons. Protest or forget. You forget. Obviously forget. You protest. If 1% of the population, when they votes that, everyone gets punished. It's like, whoa. And then there's that line, democracy. Yeah.
At least they're being honest with what they're saying, because, well, yes, that's pretty much how it works. Basically, you have two choices, both of which have very negative consequences, and then there's nowhere for you to write in your suggestion.
Yeah, suggestion box.
We are considering the consequences of either of these. We are willing to hear other suggestions.
Then they go down the chute. Find out it's the creature's mouth, its tongue.
Yes.
And then Doctor triggers its gag reflex, and I thought to myself, man, of course, this is just me overthinking, obviously, but stomach acid is stomach acid, torpedoed out of its mouth, and it's stomach acid. It's bile. Obviously, it's going to smell, but wouldn't it burn?
At least sizzle.
Yeah.
Maybe its digestive system works differently.
Yeah. I'm just going off of biology in general,
At least they didn't go through the other way.
Yeah.
I was worried that there's only one other way out of this thing, and no.
So we find out that the beast doesn't eat children, which, good. Don't want to call Chris Hansen on you. And then we find out, as we talked about, the creature's been a prisoner. And it's been tortured to keep the ship moving. And then the idea, free the creature, kill everyone, keep the creature imprisoned, and everyone lives. Turn it into a vegetable, make it like catatonic, and
an ethical dilemma.
Yeah, I really like that. I do think, like I said, I wish they hadn't laid it on so thick with a comparison to the Doctor. We could have made that comparison anyway. And then at the end with Amy, and I was like, come on. But I did like that ethical dilemma. And then we find out what's really going on, and the Queen asks, "What have you done?" And the guy says, "We work for you, Mom." And it's like, whoa. Because when we find out, this was all her doing in order to save her people. She did what she thought was right at the time. We've seen that before, like Harriet Jones, calling Torchwood to take down that ship.
Yes.
She was protecting the people. She was doing what she thought was right at the time.
Like you said at the beginning, perspective.
Yeah. Imagine we had Tennant's Doctor and Martha, and that whole bit where he says, "You don't get to decide what I need to know." And she's like, "But I don't remember." He's like, "It doesn't matter." That would have been like such a bang, 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 back and forth. And I know I shouldn't compare it to other people. I know it's not fair. I shouldn't expect Matt Smith to be David Tennant or Eccleston. It's not fair as far as delivery and portrayal goes. I just thought those lines were so good, and that back and forth was so good that it needed that oomph that I talked about earlier added to it. But I did like how it was presented, because we had the alien versus humanity idea. And when it comes to that, humanity's instinct is to engage, attack, enslave, be the antagonist. And the Doctor is empathizing with this alien because he himself is an alien. Also, I'm going to take a shot future seasons where we get "but you look human," or "you look Time Lord." I'm glad he said "we came first." I'm glad he said that this time. And then as we talked about that impossible decision, which was so good. Probably the best part of the episode was just this ethical dilemma he was under.
That's what I think also.
Yeah. And just that horrible notion that the star whale volunteered to help. It's like someone showing up to help you, like, mow your lawn, and you end up, like, chaining them to your house, and then they have to mow your lawn. But they can't speak, or, you know, it's like, man, that's horrible. And then there's a phone call. It's from the Prime Minister. It's from Winston fucking Churchill. And we see a shadow on the wall. Your favorite thing in all of Doctor Who.
Yes. Let's see if they're responsible for these cracks.
This will be Matt Smith's version of the Doctor's first exposure to them. Obviously not the Doctor's first exposure. And just the fear and anger and hatred and terror that Eccleston and Tennant both respectively showed when they were first brought up. How we can feel the fear, because we could with the previous actors. And then you brought up the crack.
Mm-hmm.
As the camera's panning out, the whale is flying the United Kingdom, and there's the crack in the ship. It's Bad Wolf. I said it in the last episode. It's Bad Wolf all over again, and I love it. Season 1, Bad Wolf was all over the fucking place. It was great. Bad Wolf was so integrated into Season 1, there were spots it was in that I didn't even see until, like, other fans pointed it out in the comments. Like, did you see it on the thing here? No, let me go back and look. Oh, shit, it was right there the whole time. Wow. So this crack thing is being woven, and I'm going to continue to talk about it when it is, and I'm going to continue to like it when it is, because I like this idea. I made the joke was going to be the Daleks, but now they're going to be possibly in episode 3. So we got them already, instead of at the season end. So, and that is all for my notes. Everything else are for my patrons over on Patreon. I said before that eventually Doctor Who needs to make new big bads. Right now it always comes back to the Master or the Daleks. So if this crack thing, is it the Daleks coming through from another dimension again? Is it the Master escaping again? Is it going to be John Sim with Palpatine powers again? And at this point, I hope not. We get the Daleks, fine. We're going to get them every season, it seems. And that's totally cool. You love the Daleks. I'm always interested how we're going to, like, freshen them up, because it's like, you can only do so much with, like, a Nazi-like race. Like, there's only so much you can do with that.
And how ironic that, do you find it the least bit ironic that it's Winston Churchill, there's a Dalek, and this time period is the World War II era, and the Dalek's catchphrase is exterminate.
Yep. It's never been a subtle comparison. On purpose, I would assume. But now they're like, hey, let's go ahead and do the thing. So we'll see what happens with that. I'm just hoping that this crack in, and usually, like we've talked before, the long game for Doctor Who so far has always paid off. It's always like jaw dropping, and we're like, holy shit, and we're just like, wow. And I'm hoping that this leads there too. But I'm hoping that they eventually start building a new threat of some kind. Because we have the Daleks, we have the Master. Hell, we have the Time Lords that are time locked in the Time War. They were a threat. So, and again, this is speculation, because as always, we don't know what's going to happen, where it's going to go. But I like it. So far, I like it. And I like the whole crack, and I like what the Multiform said about the crack being everywhere. Like, it's not just a crack in this dimension, in this time. It's a crack everywhere. I like that. Give me clues, keep me in the dark, and let it unfold before me. And stick the landing. I always said stick the landing, and they have so far. They have so far. So, like, we're only on episode 2, and I'm already really into this, like, this subplot. All right. I'm sure I've given some ammunition to the angry mob, but I'm hoping that Matt Smith continues to try and make the character his own. But at the same time, he does feel more alien than Tennant did. Again, we're only 2 episodes in. We're only 1 episode really in, with Matt Smith being his own Doctor, because the last one was him, as I said, him transitioning.
Well, this is what you wanted, a Doctor Who that was much more alien-like.
Yeah. What I'm saying, I'm just comparing. I'm just saying like where Eccleston and Tennant felt like two distinctive doctors. Tennant and Smith don't, but it's better than it was. Like when Amy and him hug, Tennant's doctor always had this like thing about him. It's in the past. It's in the past. He can't hurt you anymore.
Like I told you.
Yes. I'm hoping as time goes on, Matt Smith feels like his own version of the Doctor. And I'm sure he will. I don't think he would have been brought on to be like Tennant light. I would hope not. Like I even told TJ this when we were talking earlier. I get that this is now, was then, when it was rebooted and all this stuff, it was meant to draw in a younger audience, and it did. It did a great job of that, obviously. It's still around. But you need to please like the older fans of classic and the current fans of New Who. So it's a balancing act. So I get you need to have the charming, cute, affable lead. I get it. But I do like that it's less Casanova and all that. So I don't mean as far as flirtiness or all that. I just mean that kind of aloof. So I'm hoping that he'll continue to evolve the character and make it his own completely, like Tennant did from Eccleston. Like I've already said a few times, I don't know the range or depth that Matt Smith has as an actor. I know the range and depth that Tennant has as an actor. People watching, you know what Matt Smith can do because you have the full scope of his run. We're 2 episodes in. 1 episode as the Doctor on, an adventure as the new Doctor. And I'm not saying it is a bad thing. I'm not saying to demean him. Obviously, I'm sure he got compared in 2010 to Tennant. Like, I'm sure if message boards, it would be interesting to go back to message boards back in 2010 and just read people's comments, what they thought, and see how many people out there were like, yeah, this is blah, 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 blah. And then now in 2022, you're like, how dare you say that about him? Like, I have on good authority that you said the same thing back in 2010, before you had the full story and how he grew and evolved as the Doctor. Imagine if I could run Doctor Who. What I would do. Hire me, BBC, and stop copyright claiming my fucking videos. All right, I think I've pissed enough people off. I'm glad you're here. That way people have something pretty to look at and fawn over while they get mad at me and clickety-clacking away. It'll be interesting to come back, on episode 12 or, 11 or 12 and look back and be like, oh, okay, it's funny that I said that about Matt Smith then, because look what happened to now. I look forward to doing that. Just like a lot of people are like, we can't wait until you get caught up and then can look back at Tennant's Doctor when you have all these other people to compare him to. Mm-hmm. I feel the same way. But I don't have that luxury yet. But that is the future. This is the present. And presently, do you have anything else you'd like to add about this episode? Okay. Well, we're going to wrap this one up. As always, I don't have a fancy outro. So I'll simply say thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next video. Until then, goodbye.
Goodbye.
P.S. I also appreciate that they've stopped doing the next on Doctor Who right as the episode one goes, and then they show like the previews from the next episode. Freaking hated that. Especially in editing, because I would have to find the end of the episode, then I would see pictures. Thank you for doing the cast. So, yeah.